Right, there we go. So let me quickly go. Perfect. Share that. Sorted, and we're back. So now we are looking at the back of the desktop streamers. There you go. There you go, stream. And what I'm looking at doing is essentially just installing the hard disk into the back. So I've got here. Let me just move the GPU a second. The GPU is to one side. So let's start off with the SSD because it's lighter. Oh god, it's a good start. Lighter and it's easier to work with. And let's have a look what this says. So I've done that with the instructions and they are basically useless. So I believe what it says is to remove the SSD slot from the back, which I've done, which fit in like that. And then to attach the SSD like so. It doesn't quite fit in the holder. Which isn't ideal. I don't want to force it in. But I'm not sure quite what to do with it, I guess. Let's move this back there so that shot's a little bit better. So I mean, what do I do? I'm not going to make it fit. It doesn't fit. Okay, let's try the hard disk and see if that fits perfectly. And if it does, we know we've just got a slightly odd path. Get that staticky bag, touch case, lovely case touching. So here we go. The hard disk, I've selected the top slot. And on second thoughts, I might do it on the bottom there. I would have thought that they have no intention of having the components out, so I believe this is going to be the way to do it. Seems to fit a lot better. But it is just holding it in like that, so I'm not actually sure that that's right. And this also seems quite big to fit in such a small gap. In fact, there's no way that's going to fit. So, can someone help me figure out what I am doing wrong? So, is the key to screw it to here? Do any of these holes align? Oh, they do. Okay, so I need to screw that to the side. Right, that is why it doesn't fit. I'm glad I didn't force it, because I've just learned a valuable lesson there. Do not force it. Go. Okay, so now we need the, what they're called, where's my instructions? There we go. Right, these. What I need is the screws for HDD. So that's round head. They're the ones that I had out. So they're going to be just in there. Right, so let's get those out. Screw a couple of these in. Just 4 of them. Let's get a slightly better screwdriver for this. I'll really cut it. Maybe that'll be better. So what we should be able to do here is flip this over and mount it on there. There we go. So this appears to be correct. Oh, I've dropped the screw. No. There we go. So now I've got that screw back. I'm not going to make that mistake again. I'm going to use my magnetic screwdriver to fasten these in. As I learned with the graphics card, I'm going to tighten them up a little bit at a time. Oh, I haven't done anything. There we go. A little bit at a time so it doesn't get on a funny angle, making it difficult to finish off. So let's go there, final one. So that is mounted there. I'm going to loosen that one up a bit because it's breaking the nice rubber grommet. Oh, bloody hell. Okay, so that is done there. Now what I need to do is, I've done it upside down, haven't I? Right. Get that off. This is going well for me. Right, let's get that out there. Okay, so now we've figured that out, let's test fit this like we should have in the first place. So in order for it to fit exactly as I'd expect, I'm going to need it to go. And actually, can I fit that on the inside? I believe I could. So I'm going to check. I'm going to check with MateClwb right now. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. Right, so we've got all the media on now. I got a stream going there. I got a Facebook live chat going there. We've got filming going here to answer this simple question. Okay, no answer. Right, so let's have a little look then. So what was I looking at earlier? So here we go.
An SSD on the case. And in this one, we have 2 plates right here. I just popped this one off, as you can see, and I'm just going to now screw the bracket to my SSD, and then I can just thumb screw it right on here. Again, you're going to want to check your manual on where the different locations your case allows SSDs to be mounted. It's usually different depending on the case. But if you're using this case, it's going to be right up here, and you can even mount them above the PSU right here. I think over here looks cool. So I'm just going to screw down.
Okay, so it looks like we can go inside or outside, but typically it seems like inside is the way to go. What does that mean for the SSD? Well, that means the SSD is going to be put in the back and out of the way. So let's get cracking with that first of all. So let's get that mounted there. Screw this back in a little. There we go. And let's screw that on. So the SSD screws are slightly different. Yep, so they are considerably smaller if I remember rightly. Yep, there they are, little beggars. So these little SSD ones here. There we go, just go back to my live screen. There we go, great. So this should just screw in. I'm pretty confident it will, just like the other one did. And then we can attach that to the back of this, and then attach the other one on the inside. So we've got a little bit of stealth action going. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so there's 2 there. Let's get 2 more sorted. So there's 2 more there. So there we go, just screwing the SSD in there. Make sure it's pretty tight, I think, just to make sure I'm all good. Okay, so that is attached quite nicely. Okay, which way have I got the cable going now? I've done the same thing I did earlier. So there we go. Tighten that up there. Okay, and then we just need to attach this. Okay, so now we've got that sorted, let's look at the hard disk. So same principle applies, but because of the clearance of that and the hard disk, I don't think that's going to fit very nicely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that back. There. And spin this around. Oh, actually, while I'm here, that'll need to go back through because I did originally think it was going to work in the back. So I'll put it back now. So there we go. This one here is the hard disk. I put it in port 3 because I wanted to upgrade the SSD, potentially get another SSD so I could separate everything out onto separate drives. So cable. Then what I want to do is have a look at mounting this hard disk. So it's going to fit roughly here, and it's not an ideal fit because of that fan. So let me see how that fits. Let's have a little look. So this will fit here. And that will fit there. Well, that's difficult to get in just now. And then what I'm hoping is that this will also fit here. It does kind of appear as though it does. Other than that, what we need to do is move these fans. So I believe that there's going to be some play in those fans. We'll need to pop the top off. So let's have a look then. Let's test this against it. There. So that is that way and therefore that way, so it's on top. Okay, so the ideal scenario is that this fits and there's no problem. Oh, I believe I can see that bottom one. I'm going to look to see this. So that one's in. So that doesn't appear to fit. What about that? So that also doesn't appear to fit. So let's refer to the guide. So it seems to refer to it as being outside. I don't really like that. I think I would prefer mine to be inside. Okay, so outside it is. I can live with it. We may be able to figure it out further down the line, which will make quite a fun little video rewiring it. Once I start to learn a little bit more about this, then I will continue to work on it. So let me spin this around so you can all see. There we go. So just like we had before, we've got the SSD here, and now we're looking to mount the HDD here. So I've got that upside down there. I'm wondering if I want to mount it here or at the top. So there's a cooling fan right next to it. That does fit quite nicely, actually. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this round again for about the 10th time, and then I'm going to put it in so the cable's coming out the top. And all of those cables hopefully should be together. And we'll see about powering this thing. I'm wondering if it has constant power or if it is, as in it's attached to one of these power supply units, or if it works the other way. So definitely has a very different fit when you put it the other way. So there we go. That is now ready to be mounted. There we go. That fits quite snugly there in the bottom. There we go. So they're nicely fastened there. So that is now done, and we are moving on to graphics card. Oh, no, not quite done. It wasn't attached. So let's get that there and touch it up nicely. There we go. It can just sit there. That cable can sit nicely there. Yes, if it will. I don't imagine those brackets will fit there. but it may be worth checking just quickly to see if I can mount the SSD. Above. Yeah, I don't believe they're going to fit. No, it did not. Pop that back there then. But we do have space for a further HDD and a further SSD. So I can back up all of my work and then everything again. Don't know why you do that, but it could happen. Okay. So that is all sorted. And now we need to just double check the power cables that I need are sorted and then do the graphics processor. So the graphics card is here. And again, it's got that static paper stuff. So it needs external power. There you go. So that on the bag. So this is the RX 580 graphics card. She's a big old beast. She takes up a number of slots in the back. And let's see how it goes in. So first things first, let's spin the PC around. There we go. So the graphics card is going to go in one of these slots. I will double check now in this manual. Let's put some bubble wrap by there. Double check in the manual which one is correct. So it looks like we also need to run power to the hard disk, which we will need to do through one of these cables at the back. So what I believe we will have is a bunch of cables like this. And one of these will work. So I'm not going to worry about that too much for now. I'm going to concentrate on the graphics card and we'll go from there. So I believe I need to take out 2 expansion slots, which come out. No indication which place on the motherboard it should go, so I'm going to put it at the top because I believe that to be the right place. Okay, I'm going to quickly Google that just to be sure. There we go. So the PCS16 goes in there. No. Again, no indication which one's the correct slot. So let's have a look back through and see what we're doing. Memory, some kind of, aha. Okay, so they're all exactly the same, and 1, 2, and 3 are fine. There we go. Number 1, which is the top one. So what we're going to do then is remove these two like we were. So if that is going to plug in it's got a plug in there. Okay, so it's going to plug in there. That's going to take up the top 2 as expected. So learning the lessons from last time, we are test fitting all the way using terrible screwdrivers. Okay, so at this point, I'm starting to get really scared. So let me get a reasonable hold of this. That's a fan center, so that's okay. Then I want to try and guide it in the best way I can. So actually, I think it might be the bottom next to. What a great test fit that was. So we'll put that top one back in. Let's go and ring it up. Oh. Go and let's move that one. That one's all tight. There we go. Okay, so now let's see. And voila. I think that's in. I think I've got to put power into it. And then we're off. We're off to the races. Blinking heck. Let me fasten it in. Oh, I'm pretty chuffed with that. It's all come together pretty nicely. I've had to do some research along the way, but I guess that was to be expected. Hopefully, everything's gone okay recording-wise, because I haven't checked. And I can make this into something that people want to watch. Okay, so let's have a little look at the power cables then and see how we get some power over to the case. So what we need to do first is, right, that says PCI. So that's PCIe 12 volts. Yeah, so that seems like it's going to be the right one. PCIe, and so these two appear to be series of multi-pin connectors ending in a, so let's have a look if this is correct. I believe that if I attach one of these, that it will be enough. So let's connect that one there. So that fits quite nicely. And let's have a look at this one. So that's going to be the same deal there. So I believe this is going to be the best fit. There we go. So there's power supply sorted out for them. I don't know where that goes. Then we've got another set of those, which I imagine is for some kind of fancy doodad that people have. Let's just start a bit of that one. Yeah, fancy doodads. So I'm not going to look at that today. One day, though, if anyone's got any fancy doodads that they'd like me to try and install, then you're more than welcome to. I should probably detach that put it under that cable so that it all goes under there. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So that's in, that's in. They're all tucked away. They're all tucked away except for this one. And this one is going to come out here. And then it's going to spin around. And then what I believe I'm going to do is attach these pins to here. And that appears to be correct. There. And then that only go one way. So, unless there is anything that I have done incorrectly in all of this, this will all turn on perfectly first time. So let's put the sides on and we can go from there. So the computer is going that way. I have a few issues with cables, so I'll just do a bit of a tap job there. Okay. They can fold in. Folding. Slight hiccup. Okay, so just to show you guys what I'm doing. So what I'm doing now, I understand all the different wiring components that are getting involved here. I'm going to try and attempt to clean these up a little bit. So for example, I want that to go under there. And what I want is for one cable to thread through, feed all of these. So actually, this one doesn't need to go anywhere, so you can tuck in here. That is this memory. That's that memory. Those two cables go there. So we need to go. If I go around here, into there, and back the other way, that is going to be right. So tuck that cable there. That should keep us a little bit more tucked. If I tuck that there. Ooh. It is clean. Okay, so we're a little bit better tucked there. What else can we improve? Okay, so I believe that if I take that out of there, Jesus. So after some prying, that has been removed. Okay, so now let's see if we can get this to thread a little bit better. Okay, what about if we go through here? Doesn't fit? No, okay. Okay, so the back case is going on. The wrong way. So that didn't work well. Dropped the camera, didn't I? Let's pop that back there. This is a fucking shambles. An absolute shambles. So here we are. Bloody dropping it, didn't I? So let's keep trying then. So what I'd like to do is just tuck that there. There we go. My case sitting all nice and flush. So bracket in the bottom. Yeah. There we go, that's on the rails. And now that that's on the rails, we are officially on the rails. This build might be complete. There we go. So you'll notice that doesn't look very clear. That's because there's perspex on it. There we go. So we're about ready to start this up. What I think I'm going to do is put it in its its place, and then we'll go from there. So I'll reset up the camera and I'll be back with you.